Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Bitcoin Trade. And so this is going to be another chart, and this is for all the, I guess, people who are going to watch for anybody trading in America, I guess. So it's about 7:30 in the morning Houston time, and so this is kind of what's happened. And I've pulled back to a 6 hour to get a better idea of what's going on. And you know, these things, they when you pull back further and further, they tend to move slower, and you just got to get a better overall trend of what's going on. And so here's Bitstamp at 6 hours. Is this? No, I'm sorry. This is Coinbase at 6 hours, and you'll see that it's kind of hitting against that support, and um, it's in some ways already reached this top resistance. And I'll show you what I'm talking about, because if you look at this, if you look at that particular line, right, that high, it's already kind of this high right there, this one in particular, it kind of already has reached the resistance. So so it's kind of already tested that in some sense. It's very close to the top here, and looks like it's falling slightly, but it doesn't mean it's going to fall. It's just dancing around this support line. So I think pretty soon here in next since this is a 6 hour chart, 1, 2, 3, next 4 to 5 days, you're gonna see a break down or a break up. So depending on how you guys all played it, that's what it is. It's just I can't predict whether it's gonna go up like this or whether it's gonna go down like this. But what I can do is I can have a really good idea based on some of recent price actions that it might go up. I think this whole scenario right here, Mt. Gox fallout, so it's really pushed the price down, and even testing this 400 support, which I think 400 is a really good number, because people who trade, you think you have control over what this is. Ultimately, who has control, believe it or not? The miners. The miners have control, because they're like an oil cartel, so to speak. If they think the price is too low, they're going to stop selling their bitcoins. And if they think the price is very high, they're going to start selling their bitcoins. Of course, there's a happy medium, because when the price is too high, they're probably not going to get a lot of buyers, because it's kind of too high. When the price is low, they're going to get a lot of buyers through whoever they're working with. And like I said, you don't find miners, okay? They find you. You never know who you're trading with. You think that $100 trade, $200 trade is, just some newbie who doesn't know what they're doing, trading with you, and you scam them, or whatever. You're rude, or I don't know. If you rub a genuine person, a genuine miner, the wrong way, well, you kind of blew your chance. So you be careful who you trade with, in the sense, not that be careful that person's a criminal or a scammer, in the sense that person you're trading with could be someone who can supply you with a lot of bitcoins for a pretty good price. And if you fit the mold of what they want, what they're looking for in someone who can market bitcoins, um, you know, you'll be very fortunate. So ultimately, some of these prices can be dictated by um, miners. Not specifically people who trade on this platform, but actual, miners, people who actually have the network and setup and everything, because ultimately that's where all the bitcoins really come from. It comes from the miners who have mining rigs or something to that effect, and if they think the price is too low, uh, they're not gonna sell their bitcoins. They're not gonna put their bitcoins to market, and that's probably gonna drive the price as more and more demand starts picking up. So I'm getting a lot of reports. I'm reading a lot of reports. Um, a lot of companies here in America are starting to get into Bitcoin. Investment companies are starting to get into Bitcoin. I mean, it's there's so many things here, and there's so much potential um, funding into Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin has barely even tapped, uh, the institutional investors. Not as much yet, as far as I understand. So, as they pour money or their funds into Bitcoin, what do you think is going to happen to the value of Bitcoin? It's going to go up. And remember, in order to short a Bitcoin, you have to own a Bitcoin. How do most people get to own Bitcoin? They have to buy Bitcoin. So you're going to be buying it just to short it is redundant. Um, so, I mean, it's possible to short a Bitcoin, but you got to buy a Bitcoin to short it, if that makes sense. Although there's some exchanges that are kind of changing that, but that's only one exchange so far that I know of. But let's take a look. That's this Coinbase. I'm looking at specifically Coinbase because I know for sure. There you go. I know for sure Coinbase. I can liquidate my Bitcoin holdings into currency holdings. All right, into different banks. So that's kind of why I look at Coinbase. I never thought of looking at Coinbase because I always thought it was just there. It's not really an exchange. Yes, I can convert my bitcoins to U.S. dollars into my bank account, but I never considered Coinbase as a way to trade or anything until Mt. Gox collapsed, and I realized, wow, I think I'm gonna whatever gains I make, whatever trades I do, at the end of the day, where all my bitcoins are going? To Coinbase. Um, that's kind of where they're going, and so uh, that's just for you know security reasons, and also because of the fall of Mt. Gox. So you never know about any of these exchanges. At any given time, they could literally collapse, have their Bitcoin stolen. I mean, so, and I think eventually over time, you're going to see a lot of other Coinbases in different countries, and that's when you're going to start really seeing um, investments or potential investments going to go on uh, to wherever there's a country that has a Coinbase or Coinbase-like company. That's where people are going to flock to. That's the country they're going to go to and expend their bitcoins. And also their investors are going to go to a country that is going to be very friendly to investment. Okay, very friendly to investment. There's probably going to be some conditions in order to do that, and one of those conditions, which I think is probably going to happen, is that the money never leaves the country. All right, if you're a foreign investor and you come here to invest in our country, That's fine. Well, you'll set up a bank account. You'll be able to do whatever, trade bitcoins, convert bitcoins to legal tender, buy, you know, um, you know, investment assets, a business, start a business, whatever. And if it's going to be very friendly, well, that's where the money's going to go. It's going to go to the countries that are seeking investments. Um, so, and in order to do some of that, you have to convert your bitcoins to a legal tender. So wherever there's a country that has a Coinbase, right now there's only one country that has a Coinbase that I know of, and that's here in America. And if you want to convert your bitcoins to legal tender to purchase goods or services, which there's already a sales tax on it. Okay, so uh, you know, I don't think uh, taxing your Bitcoin and then taxing your purchase is a very good idea in my opinion. Matter of fact, other countries have thought about that and then basically did a 180. Recently, the UK did something. They had a VAT tax. Well, they just reversed that real quick. Um, you know, and now it's an investment where you can just reinvest and reinvest. So you could take your bitcoins, convert it to legal tender, start a business. All right, start a business, buy a business, um, or use it as goods and services. But I truly believe converting your bitcoins to a legal tender should not be taxed. When you actually buy something with your Bitcoin, there should be tax on the purchase, and then you're charged for you know, you add the price, and then you add the tax, and then boom, your total Bitcoin is going to be this much to buy this. I think that's all right, but to convert it to legal tender, you're going to tax that, and then convert it or and then to buy things. And the reason I'm mentioning this is well, first of all, let me go to some other charts before I get into that. Okay, that's what you're all here to see. So it's pretty much the same. It looks like it's kind of falling, but um, you know, the thing about breakouts is they're often sudden, and they often and another thing is they often look like they're gonna break down before they boom break up. You know, it always seems that way. I mean, if you looked at this one here in particular, you know, if you drew the lines here and the line here, and it looked like it was going to hit, and then you didn't know what it was going to do because it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and the range and the price gets smaller, and then pow, all right, or pow the other way. So what I'm seeing is something very similar here. You see a lot of movement, a lot of movement. Excuse me, a lot of movement. The bands are moving, man. Now the bands are really getting small. So there's going to be a lot of um, pent up, you know, pressure. Um, Not because anything's happening. It's just that's how people who trade, you know, that's just a natural human reaction. There's pent up pressure, and people get scared and sell, or people say, "Well, it's really close. I'm buying." Boom, and it causes a kind of herd reaction. It kind of does. So that's Coinbase, and you know why I add this to my chart analysis. There's a Bitfin, and Bitfin is still showing. And let me zoom in here to a 4 hour here. So Bitfin is still showing a slight breakout, and it's still being supported right here. And this is 4 hour, so I'm just trying to get a better view of what's going on. Pull back to the 6 hour. And so, according to Bitfin, it's still an uptrend. But BitC, on the other hand, it's showing a breakdown. So there's a breakdown here. Seems like it, or it could literally just be just going sideways. You know, it may have a lot more sideways motion before it hits here and goes down, but it looks like it's turning over, going down. And then, of course, there's Bitstamp, and Bitstamp looks like it's turning down as well. or it could be going sideways. So very mixed picture right now. It's a little hard to tell. I know there's got to be some pressure to move up or move down, and so that's kind of how it is. And let me pull out one more. Let me also take a look at the weighted average, and you can see that's Bitsy here. Let me start off with Bitstamp. So there's your Bitstamp, and it looks like the down on a 2 hour. Let me see, 2 hour 15 minutes in weighted averages. Okay, that's just one thing I just look at, and so far it looks like it's a down. And I'll even do a 5-day, which is an hourly, and it looks like it's turned over here. So it looks like there's going to be a little bit of down, but you know how things work. It looks like it's a little bit of down, and then pow. It does that sometimes. And for the inexperienced trader, I mean, it kind of sucks to go through this, but you see it going down, so you sell off down here, and then as soon as you put that, you push that sell order button, pow, it goes up. So, but anyways, but it on a 5-day hourly, it looks like it's turnover and it's trending down. All right, that's my point I'm trying to make. We'll take a look at Bitsy as well. Same thing. Okay, and again, these things are all available to you. See, even the Bitcoin charts, whatever, or Bitcoin charts. And I've already mentioned why I like some of this, because it doesn't move. I can just look at it and just make a judgment. I'm speculating here. So let me see here. What's next? Bitsy, Bitstamp, Bitfin. And Bitfin's got the same thing, and it's definitely turned over. So if you look at the 5-hour hourly, you'll see that it's bouncing, and now it's crossed over. So it looks like right now that it's going down, and that's quite a bit of crossover on an hourly, because if you notice on the when it's been going up so far like this, it's been staying above the 25 period weighted average. Now it's crossed over. Now it's going under the 25 period. That this is a 10 period average, and that's a 25 period average. So they've crossed over, and it's obviously now this line, this weighted average here, is being a resistance and pushing the price down. So that's let me see, I did Bitsy, Bitstamp, and Bitfin. So there you go. And the last one I'm going to look at is this, and of course it's still green. Okay, so it's still green, which is good. So let's look at the top, and we could just totally ignore Mt. Gox. So right now that's the 30-day average, and well, it's higher than what it is now, so that's a good trend going up. So as long as it stays above this 30-day average, it's going to be green. And this could be, if you look at it, it's a buying signal, because anything that goes above the 30-day average is considered a good sign, right? Anything going down below the 30-day average, that's a sign of a downtrend. So that's, if you have a Bitcoin, you can short by converting Bitcoins to a fiat currency. Most of it's U.S. dollars, so and I'm not talking about real life. I'm talking about on the trading platforms. So you're just going back and forth on that, and so these are buying signals for me. This is when you know that the downtrend is over, and there's a good chance that there's an uptrend. So as long as this is green, it's safe to say that it's bullish. It's trending up. But the, this is a lagging indicator, so you won't know until after it happens. But at least it's a good sign indicating that there's upward pressure in price. So, in my opinion, okay, I'm just expressing myself, you know. So that's the last thing I want to look at, and I guess that's it. So I'll end it off on I guess Bitstamp here, and just pull back, take a look at it on a 6-hour basis, and you know, it 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 looks like it's starting to trend upwards again. It just looks like it on a 6-hour basis. But you know, let me see if I pull back to a daily. There you go. And then there's that hard resistant line right here, and we'll see what happens if it's able to break out of that. If it just could break out or just go above that resistance, it may sound, and even though if it comes back down, just the fact that it tested this on a Bitstamp, um, I would consider that a good sign, because there's support here around this price, like I've been kind of saying. If you set a limit order here at this price area, and anybody who ever listened to that or actually acted on that, good for you guys, because now you made a pretty safe trade here. I mean, you know, it was pretty safe to make a limit order around this price area right here, because you could tell from the previous price actions that no one beyond this point, there was a good chance that nobody else was going to sell. The selling would be ending right here, because that's a pretty good support. It's proven itself once, twice, 3 times. So 400 is about the price where there's going to be support. So it's hit that support again, back up, and it's hitting this hard resistance line at a lower price now, and there could be a good chance that it could just blow right through, considering the price action of previous history. So that's it for that, and hopefully this is going to help you with your trades. Um, you know, it's still, Bitcoin's still volatile, but not as volatile as much anymore. So you just have to back out on a 6-hour, on a daily, to get an idea of what's going on with the price action. So hopefully this is going to help all of you guys, and I'm going to load this up right away. I don't know how much this is going to help you, because it's not much any different than what I've been saying, other than we're getting closer and closer to some upward or downward pressure. And right now, I would have to say it seems like it's maintaining an upward trend on a short-term basis, but long-term, it's obviously been trending down, but I think there's a lot of built-up pressure to have it go up. It just seems like it wants to go up, and I think there's just a lot of demand out there, a lot of demand. It's just been so crazy. So actually, I have a little bit more time, and this is kind of what I want to talk about here, and this is kind of why I kind of been bringing up the whole tax thing. And there you go. Australian Tax Office explains Bitcoin intends to tax it. And this is one of the markets I did want to get into. And I was reading it, and it's good and bad. From what I've read, it seems like they want to tax just for using Bitcoin, and then they want to tax if you made any money on Bitcoin. So it seems like they want to tax twice, maybe 3 times. They're talking about if you sent Bitcoin to buy goods and service, you'd be taxed on that Bitcoin. I'm not sure exactly what they mean. I'm not 100% focused on Australia. I can understand if you buy something and you have to pay taxes on like sales tax. Okay, that's fine. But if I bought a Bitcoin and the Bitcoin, I bought it for $100 and then 2 days later it's worth 1,000, and then I spend that Bitcoin, they're gonna tax me for $900, and then they're gonna tax me on what I buy, and then they're gonna tax me again because I made $900 as profit. I mean, this is the I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but if that's the case, I mean, um, what's going to happen is the people who have so far acquired massive amounts of Bitcoin in Australia, what they're going to do? Well, they're going to hop on a plane and they're going to go somewhere, and they're going to basically start an operation outside of Australia, okay? And that money is never going to come back to Australia. It's going to stay within that country, and whoever has that investor investing in their country, well, they're going to benefit. I think that's what's going to happen, and you're going to probably see a lot of that. I mean, you got to be. I mean, from what I've read, that's what it seems like it's going to happen. And what's going to happen is you're going to drive a lot of people out of the country. It's possible. You may drive a lot of Bitcoins out of Australia. Who knows? These things are changing. I mean, the UK tried to put some kind of VAT tax, and they totally reversed it. And I think after a while, Australia may do the same, especially after they see everybody else, the approach that other countries are going to take, where it's more investor friendly. People who are willing to pour money into your country through Bitcoins. And you'll be surprised how much benefits your country will get by being more friendly to investors. And it goes both ways. Australians can go to other countries and invest there as well, and reap the benefits of doing that. And it works both ways. I mean, the country that they operate in will benefit in potential jobs, potential revenue, potential everything. Just got to be careful with, you don't want to overtax to the point where, well, nobody wants to be in your country anymore. And if you tax to a point where, well, your revenue goes down, but your taxes go up, I don't know. I'm not a tax expert. All I know is that, the more I'm taxed, the less money I'm going to have to reinvest. Or it gets to a point where, wow, I don't want to be in this country anymore investing my money. I'm going to go somewhere else where, they appreciate me spending my money. Because, Bitcoin is money. It is. It's just that it's so liquid, so transferable. It's not backed by a country, so it can be used in any country. You see what I'm saying? So that's my that's kind of why I'm talking about Coinbase and stuff like that. You'll start seeing other countries have a Coinbase-like company, or maybe even Coinbase itself will set up operations in these different companies, and that's when you're going to see growth, reinvestments, because value is being transferred so easily. It allows an investor to transfer that value into, or convert that value back into a legal tender, and then that legal tender can legally purchase goods and services for, ideally for investment purposes. Now, if you're using it for consumption, I totally agree you should pay a sales tax on whatever you're buying, okay? But I don't think you should pay taxes for using Bitcoin and then pay taxes again for buying something, and then pay taxes because you bought a Bitcoin for $100, now it's worth 900, and you're spending it. I mean, that's, you're being taxed like 3, 4, 5 different ways, and at the end of the day, you're not left with much. So you're going to kill. I mean, you're just going to kill. You're trying to kill the investors, in some sense. So, anyways, that's just my 2 satoshis worth of opinion. But then again, these are the rules and regulations and guidelines that Australia wants to set, and the Australian people will just have to deal with them. Have to respect their rule of law in their country. That's just the way it is. But how is it going to affect if I'm going to do business there? Yeah, it is, because I'm going to go to the country that's going to be friendly with me and my money. And I do have plans to go global, so that's kind of why it's a concern for me, because the money's not going to leave the country. It's going to stay there. I just want to, if I want to go to Australia to check out my operations, I want to go there, and I want to use Australian money. But anyways, I'll end it with this, and hopefully all of you guys will enjoy my videos. Anyways, feel free to comment, like, dislike, even leave a video response. Until next time, stay tuned. Bye.